Welcome to the DIY Honda Garage channel. DTC P0450 stands for Fuel Tank Pressure Sensor Out of Range. This particular Diagnostic Trouble Code DTC indicates that the fuel tank pressure FTP sensor is sending readings that are outside the acceptable range. The FTP sensor plays a crucial role in the vehicle's evaporative emissions control system by detecting fuel vapor pressure in the tank, which helps the Engine Control Module ECM manage fuel evaporation and emissions. The sensor is typically located near the fuel tank and connects to the Powertrain Control Module PCM, which processes the data it receives. When the FTP sensor goes out of its designated range, it can lead to performance issues and trigger warning lights on the dashboard. Proper diagnosis is essential for determining the correct course of action to rectify this issue. The FTP sensor's primary role is to monitor the pressure within the fuel tank, allowing the vehicle's engine management system to detect any potential leaks or vapor buildup. Specifically, a properly functioning FTP sensor provides essential data to the PCM, ensuring that the fuel system operates efficiently. The sensor is typically mounted on or near the fuel tank and may be integrated into the fuel pump assembly, making it somewhat difficult to access. If the FTP sensor malfunctions or falls out of its defined range, it can trigger DTC P0450, putting the engine's performance and emissions compliance at risk. Furthermore, it can affect the vehicle's ability to meet environmental standards, thus making timely repairs essential. Several possible causes can trigger DTC P0450. The most common reason is a faulty FTP sensor itself, which may not be providing the correct signals to the PCM. Secondly, there may be issues with the wiring that connects the FTP sensor to the PCM. Damaged or corroded wires can lead to weak connections, causing the sensor to report incorrect data. Thirdly, malfunctioning within the PCM can also be a root cause. If the PCM is not interpreting the data accurately, it may falsely indicate that the FTP sensor is out of range. Addressing these potential issues methodically is essential to pinpoint the exact cause of the DTC. Several symptoms are associated with DTC P0450 that can alert the driver to an underlying issue. The most obvious indication is the illumination of the check engine light on the dashboard, signaling that the vehicle's onboard diagnostics have detected a fault. Drivers may also notice poor engine performance, characterized by rough idling or loss of power during acceleration. Additionally, increased emissions can result from a malfunctioning FTP sensor, impacting both environmental compliance and fuel efficiency. If these symptoms occur, it is vital to address the underlying issues promptly to maintain optimal vehicle performance and compliance with emission regulations. In the first troubleshooting step for DTC P0450, begin by turning the vehicle's ignition to the on mode without starting the engine. This allows the vehicle's onboard diagnostic system to initialize its sensors. Clear the existing DTC using the HDS or Honda Diagnostic System to reset the fault log. After clearing the code, turn the vehicle to the off position. It is also crucial to remove the fuel fill cap at this point, as it allows the system to detect any changes in pressure that occur when the cap is off. Following these actions prepares the vehicle for monitoring the FTP sensor readings in the next steps. In this step, after having completed the previous tasks, reinstall the fuel fill cap firmly to ensure that the fuel system can maintain proper pressure. Start the engine and hold it at a steady speed of 3,000 RPM. This involves keeping the continuously variable transmission, CVT, in park or neutral if applicable. Monitor the onboard diagnostic OBD system status for DTC P0450 using the HDS. If the HDS shows that the status is failed, you have likely duplicated the malfunction, and the next steps will guide you to identify the root cause. If the status shows passed but intermittent failure, it suggests that the system may be functioning correctly at the moment, but further inspection of connections and terminals at both the FTP sensor and PCM is necessary. To identify the specific area of failure, turn the vehicle to the off position and then disconnect the FTP sensor's 3P connector. This connector contains critical electrical connections to the FTP sensor and facilitates communication between the sensor and the PCM. Next, using a jumper wire, connect terminals A and B on the FTP sensor's connector to create a bridge that simulates proper sensor operation. With the jumper wire in place, turn the vehicle to the on mode again to allow the HDS to retrieve new readings. At this point, the HDS will evaluate the FTP sensor's parameters, specifically seeking if the voltage exceeds 3.72 volts. If the conditions are met, it confirms an issue with the FTP sensor. Otherwise, replacement of the sensor may be necessary. Once the jumper wire has been removed from the FTP sensor's connector, it is time to turn the vehicle back to the on mode. In this state, measure the voltage between specific test points on the FTP sensor connector. The testing environment must ensure that the FTP sensor's 3P connector is disconnected for accurate results. You should measure the voltage between test points 1 and 2 to assess if the output voltage is around 5.0 volts. If the reading falls within this range, it confirms the integrity of the FTP sensor and leads to further checks in subsequent steps. If it does not meet the criteria, other faults must be assessed. After confirming the appropriate voltage from the previous step, turn off the vehicle. Jumper the SCS, service check switch, line using the HDS and wait more than 1 minute to allow it to settle. Following this, disconnect the PCM's connector B. You'll need to make a terminal connection between the FTP sensor's 3P connector number 2 and a known good body ground using a jumper wire. This connectivity is crucial for checking continuity. Assessing between specific test points will reveal whether the resistance is at 1.0 ohm or less. If so, it indicates the P-tank or P-tank wire is fine. If the reading exceeds this limit, an open in the wiring must be repaired. In this final troubleshooting step, the procedure is similar to the previous one. First, ensure that the vehicle is turned off, and then jump the SCS line using the HDS for continuity testing. Disconnect connector A from the PCM before making a jumper connection between the FTP sensor 3P connector number 1 and body ground. Ensuring proper setup helps you check the continuity between specific test points to measure resistance. If the reading is 1.0 ohm or less, the SG5 SG wire is intact and the system's wiring is functioning well. If it exceeds this value, it signifies a fault, requiring further examination and repair of any open circuits affecting the signal. After completing all troubleshooting steps and any necessary repairs, it is crucial to verify the efficacy of your work. Use the HDS to recheck the DTC for P0450 to see if it is cleared. Additionally, ensure that the FTP sensor is operating correctly, producing the appropriate readings as expected. It is recommended to take the vehicle for a test drive to capture real-world data, validating that the symptoms associated with the DTC no longer persist. Monitoring the vehicle's performance during this time is critical for confirming that repairs are effective and that the issue has truly been resolved. Preventive maintenance plays a vital role in avoiding future occurrences of DTC P0450. Regular inspection of the fuel tank pressure sensor can help catch issues before they escalate to fault codes. Additionally, inspecting the wiring and connectors that lead to the sensor can reveal potential risks, such as corrosion or fraying, allowing for timely repairs. Routine diagnostics using the HDS can help identify any problems well in advance, ensuring that the vehicle remains compliant with emission regulations. Committing to these practices can enhance vehicle longevity and reduce the likelihood of encountering DTCs in the future. In summary, understanding the role of the FTP sensor is essential for diagnosing DTC P0450 effectively. Following a structured and systematic troubleshooting approach ensures that each potential issue is thoroughly investigated. Whether the problem lies with the FTP sensor itself or the wiring and PCM, addressing each area methodically will lead to accurate repairs. Finally, ensuring that DTCs are cleared and the vehicle operates as intended increases overall reliability and performance. By adhering to preventive maintenance strategies, you can further prolong the life of the vehicle and minimize disruptions in the future. Please like and subscribe to the channel. See you next time.